So let's look at the two. Here is the one that was glued. Looks very intact, nice, and it runs pretty nice. Well, the drill runs quite concentric. Welded one, which I can't even get the nut on straight because of the weld, but hopefully I can get that. So, not horrible, but not great. Maybe if I can put it on the chuck, that could be better. Hey, that's better. So now I can actually use that to clean up the edge. And I'll do that on the... What I have here is a setup to kind of flatten out the bottom of this thing I'm making, and this is a poor man's lathe. Obviously I gripped it through the mandrel into the chuck, and then I have a file here. This is actually like a car body, Bondo file, and I have it in the vise just to give me a little bit of mass so it doesn't jiggle as much, and make sure that the teeth are the rotation is this way, make sure the teeth are cutting into it, so you shouldn't have it on this side, you should have it on this side. And then you lower it in, and it actually works kind of well for small stuff. Be careful, I've had the chuck spin off I think this is a Jacobs taper number 2 or something like that, so it's not a lathe, it's a drill, but in emergencies it does work. So let me show you how that works. Let's look at it. And I can go a little bit more. It's quite reasonable. This thing will not focus. I guess 1.5 feet is the minimum. So it's getting there. I'll do a little bit more. Seems like this is pretty dangerous when I'm looking at it that way, so this is not the safest thing you can do. Let's look at it again. Oh, it's almost there. I probably need about It looks like about 10 mils more, maybe 15. So I gotta be careful so this file doesn't knock my teeth out. That's the only thing. Going wrong. Okay. Obviously the safe thing would be to bolt this vise down. Okay, so as you can see, this is kind of what the part should look like. However, so I tapped it. This is the one that was glued together. You can see the parting line here. So I tapped it with 440 screws. Actually, the tapping operation that went pretty easily. I didn't break out any place. You just have to be real careful with the 440 tap because it's thin and it can break very easily. So that part went fine. But then when it came to making these indents for the, and if you look at the original part, you can kind of see the idea is this is to slide it in and then it engages right here in this little part totally. And obviously in the original part you got nylon against nylon, so there is a little bit of flex, there is enough tolerances in there. And here what happened was I actually took my calipers and I went around and I divided it up into 6 parts and I drilled them through 3 holes. And I'm not really happy, and then I cut this out on the band so I kind of started shaping it. I'm not really happy with the spacing. And like for example this hole right here doesn't have any of that engagement part. So this one does, this one is okay. This one is probably okay too. So I want to do it a little bit better. So new idea. On the second one I took a piece of paper, divided it up into 6 parts, and I'm gonna glue it on because I can find the hole really. So the contrast is a little bit better. I'll do this one again. Okay. Now let's do this again. Oh, it shows up much better. I think this is going to be much more accurate. Obviously, if I had a mill and a dividing head, life would be easier, but I don't. So, that was a little bit hard to see. And last, I think this is the last. Yeah, that's the last one. So now, to mark the height, I've got a block in here, and I'm just going to use my wood chisel, which obviously is not the best thing for this, but I think I can get a consistent height that way. And I'm hoping I can get a consistent height. Okay. that's it. So now it's all been marked up. And now I just drill the holes, making sure it's exactly vertical. So now I have these holes drilled. Seems like this one is a little bit off. It seems pretty accurate. Now I'm going to enlarge them. This is not the safest operation, but I can be pretty careful, I think. And I can see already that the spacing is much better. This is quite good. This is much better than my previous method. So now I'm gonna clean it up and put the angles in there so it fits in, and I'll be done. I think this is the one I'm gonna use. So now the final product, let's see if it'll focus reasonably. It's, I think, pretty even, and when we compare it to the original, which is here, it's slightly smaller because, you know, obviously if I had the right tubing that would have been a little bit better, but you know, that's okay. But I think it fits over the inner rotor, so that's what counts. The length is about the same, and I think the teeth are shaped pretty much the same too. So now we'll assemble it and see what happens. And now, I gotta admit, I did turn it on before, but it seems to work pretty well. It seems to, you know, go on. Obviously this is easy, let's spin it. It doesn't go on as easily as it used to. You gotta kind of find the place. And it's got some kind of a intermediate speed resonant vibration. It slows down, kind of like, so it's not exactly as good as the OEM product, but considering cost, zero, all the materials I had around the garage, and I don't have to throw away this blender that's worth about 70 bucks, so I'm not too unhappy. Okay, so now we got to try something in there. This is pretty clean, and obviously ice would be the crucial test, but I don't have any right now. Put this in there, and let's give it a try. No. Okay. Okay, I'm calling it fixed.